A warm welcome to you here on TV News Hour, this hour on TV Sapiens. The top stories today. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amopitan, on Tuesday assured political parties and stakeholders in Awka that logistics preparations for the November 8, 2025 Anambra State governorship election had been fully secured to ensure a smooth and credible process. The European Union has reaffirmed its respect for Nigeria's sovereignty, distancing itself from external pressures while pledging continued collaboration with the country in peace building, interfaith dialogue, and human rights protection. Finally, Tottenham say they are supporting 22-year-old Italian international defender Destiny Udogie and his family after he was allegedly threatened with a gun in London. My name is Chioma Vicchukwemeka. Thank you so much for joining us. Now the news in full. Anambra is in the news. All eyes on the November 8th governorship election. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amopitan, yesterday Tuesday assured political parties and stakeholders in Awka that logistics preparations for the November 8, 2025 Anambra State governorship election had been fully secured to ensure a smooth and credible process. Speaking at a stakeholders forum held at the Dora Akunyili Women Development Center, Amopitan said the commission had finalized key operational arrangements, noting that INEC was fully prepared to deliver a free, fair and peaceful poll. He disclosed that 11 of the 13 activities on the election timetable have been completed, adding that campaigns would end by midnight of November 6 to facilitate the movement of personnel and materials. He said INEC had hired 2,233 buses from the National Association of Transport Owners and the National Union of Road Transport Workers, as well as 83 boats to serve riverine communities. The INEC chair confirmed that political parties would inspect sensitive materials at the Central Bank of Nigeria in Awka before deployment. On voter access, the inclusivity, he stated that 63.9% of newly registered voters had collected their permanent voter cards, prompting an extension of the collection deadline to November 2. Uncollected cards, he added, will be retrieved and kept with the CBN until after the polls. He also announced that sign language interpreters will be deployed across polling units to support 3,456 registered persons with disabilities. A total of 2,802,790 voters are captured in the final register, while 16 political parties will participate in the exercise. Amopitan warned electoral officials to strictly comply with the Electoral Act, saying that misconduct would attract sanctions. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Botokun, has issued a stern warning to criminal elements planning to disrupt the process, insisting that security agencies are fully prepared to enforce the law. Represented by the Acting Commissioner of Police in charge of operations at the Force Headquarters, Omar Hadija, Botokun spoke in Abuja on Tuesday during a dissemination meeting on the election security threat assessment. Hadija said individuals or groups plotting to cause unrest during the election should leave Anambra State now, stressing that security agencies would not hesitate to arrest and prosecute offenders. He assured residents of adequate security, noting that personnel had been deployed and emergency lines activated. Citizens can report threats or suspicious activity through the toll-free number 933. Still on the Anambra State governorship election holding on 8th of November, the Police Service Commission has deployed its monitoring personnel to Anambra State ahead of Saturday's governorship election, with a warning to police officers to maintain neutrality and professionalism throughout the exercise. The PSC chairman, DIG Hashimu Arugungu, retired, in a statement by the Commission's spokesperson Ike Chukwuani, said that the election would serve as a test case for the Nigeria Police Force as the country moves towards the 2027 general elections. In a significant move towards promoting inclusivity in Nigeria's electoral process, TAF Africa, a non-governmental organization, has trained 150 observers to monitor the Anambra governorship election. The observers will focus on persons with disabilities, documenting challenges they face, assessing the availability of assistive tools, and evaluating the accessibility of polling units. According to Lynn Agwoncha, Senior Communication Officer at TAF Africa, the observers will specifically report on the provision of assistive tools promised by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, as mandated by Section 54 of the Electoral Act 2022. This move is aimed at ensuring that voters with disabilities have a seamless voting experience. Adeolu Kilanko, Program Manager of TAF Africa, emphasized the importance of neutrality and impartiality, advising observers to objectively report their findings without interference. The observers pledged to abide by electoral rules and they actually appreciated TAF Africa's inclusive approach, which gives voice to people with disabilities and amplifies their concerns through the media. This initiative aims to promote inclusivity and accessibility in Nigeria's electoral process, ensuring that all citizens have an equal opportunity to participate. By monitoring the voting process and reporting on challenges faced by voters with disabilities, TAF Africa hopes to contribute to a more inclusive and credible election. We'll take a break right now. When we return on the news, the federal government has begun moves to modernize Nigeria's police training institutions as part of efforts to build a 21st century police force. These and other stories will come your way after this time out. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Away from the Anambra State governorship election to other stories, right now the federal government has begun moves to modernize Nigeria's police training institutions as part of efforts to build a 21st century police force equipped with modern skills and technology. This was disclosed on Monday by Enugu State Governor Peter Mba, who chairs the National Economic Council Committee on the overhaul of police and security training institutions during the inspection of the Police Training College, Ikeja, Lagos. The visit is part of a nationwide assessment of security training facilities. Mba said the exercise followed President Bola Tinubu's October 23 directive to the NEC to submit within 1 month a blueprint for the renovation of all police and security training schools. President Tinubu at a 152nd NEC meeting had expressed concern over the poor state of such facilities nationwide. The European Union has reaffirmed its respect for Nigeria's sovereignty, distancing itself from external pressures while pledging continued collaboration with the country in peace building, interfaith dialogue and human rights protection. EU ambassadors to Nigeria and ECOWAS Gautier Minot stated this yesterday Tuesday in Lagos during an interview with newsmen, where he clarified the bloc's position following U.S. President Donald Trump's recent remarks on Nigeria. Minot stressed that the EU's stance is guided by its long-standing partnership with Nigeria rather than the views of other nations. He affirmed that the EU and its member states fully respect Nigeria's sovereignty and its constitutional commitment to religious neutrality. According to him, the EU is ready to enhance its support in peace, security and defense matters, as well as through dialogue with all stakeholders, including civil society organizations and traditional and religious leaders. Away from that, we move to sports. Tottenham say they are supporting 22-year-old Italian international defender Destiny Udogie and his family after he was allegedly threatened with a gun in London. Police arrested a 31-year-old man in connection with the incident in September. He has been bailed while inquiries continue. Police were called late in the evening on September 6 to report a man in his 20s had been threatened with a gun in a North London suburb popular with Tottenham and Arsenal players. Udogie started Tottenham's 4-0 Champions League home win over Copenhagen on Tuesday. Well, we'll start following up on that story and we'll keep updating you. That wraps it up on the news this hour. Let's look at the top stories again. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amopitan, yesterday Tuesday assured political parties and stakeholders in Awka that logistics preparations for the November 8, 2025 Anambra State governorship election have been fully secured to ensure a smooth and credible process. The European Union has reaffirmed its respect for Nigeria's sovereignty, distancing itself from external pressures while pledging continued collaboration with the country in peace building, interfaith dialogue and human rights protection. Tottenham say they are supporting 22-year-old Italian international defender Destiny Udogie and his family after he was allegedly threatened with a gun in London. Well, that's it on the news this hour. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Chioma Victor. Thanks for watching and stay with us.